The following podcast is a production focused on storytelling, exploring new TTRPG systems and their supplements. This podcast is not sponsored by any of the systems or their owners, and is meant to be a fun, interactive book club. Respective credits for songs, sound effects, and resources are listed within the description or details. And with that, please enjoy, adventurer. Okay, so the way it works for also just in general, like you're in the middle of this right now. You're not necessarily in combat. They notice that you're on the gangplank. But yeah, so what do you guys do? There's no initiative. It's basically you have to tell me, you just tell me and we take turns kind of. So whoever wants to go first, and then we'll determine who wants to do next. So
I'm trying to open up my sheet within Foundry here.
is it not opening?
There is no token in the scene which gives you visibility.
Oh, okay. I am so sorry. I didn't give you ownership of your respective tokens. Okay.
Oh, I thought this system just didn't have maps in it. So I was like, oh, it's black.
I reloaded and it did highlight me in the darkness, so I was able to finally click on it. But it's just a black screen.
I see what's going on here. My apologies. The thing is that like the way Blades in the Dark works is that there's not really anything like distance or anything like that, or so I didn't configure the lighting. So
we're just under the veil. It's fine.
As long as you can access your character sheet, that's all that matters. Like that's
now I can after I've reloaded.
Okay, as long as you can access your character sheet, because like the token doesn't matter as much.
Sure. Yeah, so I just added the stress.
Okay.
And now that these,
we're gonna say that there are an additional 4 left to go deal with the ghosts. They're dealing with that right now. That monstrosity that's freaking out on the end of the gangplank. So there are 4 more that have gone down the gangplank and have met you halfway.
Are their weapons drawn?
They were drawing their weapons. At this point, they have started to draw their weapons now because they've realized that there are people coming up the gangplank that they don't recognize.
Okay. It's not. Things are still kind of sketchy. We're not in like fight mode right now. Yeah.
No, I mean you are on a gangplank that's on a vessel that's being impounded by the police, basically. So it's up to you of what you. We'll take turns here of like what you guys want to do.
Okay. Amanda. Brodie.
I think in this instance, seeing them coming, Brodie would try to command them. He's like, you need to go help them. Something's wrong with that shade. And use his command to try to, in the moment of fear and adrenaline, to just direct them in a sense what to do.
All right, so you're gonna try to command them. I'm gonna say that this is a desperate position. This is desperate, and I'm gonna say this is potentially going to be limited effect because you're basically telling 4 cops that are running down the gangplank after hearing a ghost shriek to go help, but at the same time they are still doing their duty. So you're gonna be giving me a desperate roll with limited effect.
Okay.
You can, but also at any point, if you want to go back and choose a different action, because you don't have to do this. There's other things too, like you could take what's known as a devil's bargain, or other things like potentially a flashback to establish stuff. So a devil's bargain is basically where I give you something that's basically going to give you an additional die, but you are going to be dealing with something potentially later or now because of the devil's bargain.
Do we want to continue with this summoning ghost plan?
At this point, the
because
die
we
is
can
cast.
go back, yeah. Because I thought we could go if we didn't like what was happening, would we be able to go back and choose a different action?
I mean, it's already started, right?
No. You can't. So you can. So right now we're in it. So you can do things like a flashback to establish something like I flashback but I can't give you. I can give you like an example.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to flashback and say I put like, what are the items here? Climbing gear, throwing knives, charms, spirit bog.
What's going on? What's going on, Amanda?
Could I go to these vampires, do a flashback, and say I could identify something about them to see which of the noblemen they serve specifically? And invoke the name of someone who they would more readily adhere to?
Okay.
We've been sent here to make sure the boat is. I don't know.
Right.
So when an operation is underway, you can invoke a flashback to roll for an action in the past that impacts your current situation. I set the stress level when you activate the flashback. So you basically have to be pitching. So you're pitching to me is that you're wanting to have recognized or done something to one of the vampires there. To like, what are you pitching to me? Sorry,
I'm trying to understand flashback. So is flashback something where we would have done something in this space in a time prior?
It could be in this space. It could be, you basically just, this is even more collaborative than even D&D. So like you could just say, I met someone at the bar and we talked, like that kind of thing. Or I was scouting outside of Goldspear and I found this guy and I saw him doing something. And then I just basically, you can pitch to me that you saw someone committing an affair, right? And that just, depending on the success of the roll and the stress of it, that's just true. You just take the stress and other things, right?
Interesting. So if I were to say that if I were to invoke a flashback in a previous event, I had swiped a crest's identifying emblem to flash to show that we are part of the same same group, that could be true?
Basically, yeah. So if you just pitch something to me as a scene, and then I determine how much stress you're going to take, depending on how complex this is going to be, right? And depending on what kind of thing you're positing to me, it may require an additional action roll. But then if it succeeds, then it just happens. Or if you're fine with it, it just happens. So.
Okay. I would say then I'd like to invoke flashback. I would say less than a month ago, he'd run into a skirmish that happened between the Red Crests and another faction. And in the mayhem, he found one of their badges among the dirt, and he picked it up and kept it for himself.
I would say no, this is going to be an elaborate action because, this is a person's badge. This is and also we've established that this is nobility that has, like, nepotism, right? Like, if someone loses a badge, like, that's a big deal. So this is going to cost you, I would say, 3 stress.
It's got their picture on it.
This
is me, and it's just like some old woman.
So what's going to happen is that this would cost 3 stress that you had found a badge, and then basically what you're going to be doing is that you'll take the stress, but then you're going to have to make a roll to basically command or sway or whatever. I'm guessing whatever you pitch to see if it works. So are you willing to take the 3 stress?
I would say yes.
Okay, so take 3 stress. You have found, like, back a month ago during a skirmish with the Red Crests, and I'm going to say with the Red Crests and, let's say
the fin scrapes.
Say the fin scrapes then, yeah, okay. The fin scrapes. All right, so you take 3 stress, and with this skirmish, you pick up the badge, and you take it, and you're flashing it to the guys. And so what are you doing here when flashing that badge?
Say we've been here to expect the hold for some contraband, but you need to go help the people on the gangplank or on the end of the docks.
Okay, so I'm gonna say then that this is going to be because also the did we determine if you took that desperate roll?
We hadn't yet.
No, we hadn't yet.
No.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna say that this is still desperate because you're not in full garb, right? Like, you're not in full garb. You are taking out a badge, and like plainclothes cops, you're not sure if that actually is a thing or not. You just flashed a badge. So this is a desperate position, and I'm gonna say though it's gonna be, because it's a badge, I'm gonna say that it is going to be I'll say standard effect.
Like we're contractors who do the dirty work.
Okay.
And what are you gonna be rolling here?
So, I would say command still, simply because he is ordering them to assist others by authority of the person whose badge he flashed.
Something to remember too. You take the higher of the two.
Okay.
Right? So that's a partial success. But also something to remember: mark down 1 XP because you did a desperate action or desperate roll.
Okay.
All right, so this is a partial success. So they look at this and they see that you have flashed this badge, and they hear you saying that that we have to go help these other guys with the ghost that's freaking out. I'm gonna say that's gonna get rid of 2. So you've got 2 guys left on the gangplank. So other 2 just nod to you and they head off. But the other 2 guards, they go, "We have to stay here to protect the goods. That's our orders here. But we'll get our guys go over there to help out."
In that case,
So then, Wicker, what would you like to do?
I would like to see if I could sway the 2 that are still here.
Okay.
And with this, Wicker would just, good, you 2 wait here while we go inspect and try to find the contraband. It shouldn't take us long.
You can see that they're both kind of like, their eyes are flitting over to the ghost and also to you, just kind of.
We should probably be quick, as we don't want to attract any more attention from the spirits, as it shouldn't take too long to find contraband on here. I want to make sure that everything is protected.
You know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to start a clock. So the way I'm seeing it is that there is a ghost at the end of the gangplank, and it's probably going to be requiring reinforcements to coming by at some point. So we're going to start a clock. I'm going to say it's going to be a 4-tick clock. And when that clock fills up, then reinforcements will have arrived. So you're going to try to sway these guys to let you past while everyone else is dealing with the ghost. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say that this is a risky position.
Okay. I was going to say, unless Amanda, does that sound like a good idea?
Let's go.
Okay, so this is a risky, and I'll say that this is going to be standard effect.
Okay. And I'll do sway, since I do have 1 thing in sway. And my modifier would be +1, is that correct?
You are rolling 1 dice. Unless you want to take
not +1, so 0.
Your
right?
modifier?
Yeah, my modifier should just be 0, like just 1 dice, right?
Yeah, just 1 dice. Unless you want to take a devil's bargain or potentially do a flashback or something else, or that is a success. So what happens is the 2 guards, they look to you and they look back to Brodie. It's like, "Well, you do have another red crest with you. All right, very well. We'll stay here. You go ahead and search the rest, and we'll wait for more reinforcements."
We'll be quick.
I'm going to tick the clock 2 ticks because that was a standard effect. So the clock is half full. So further, depending on actions, this clock will fill up. But you move past these 2 guards. You are now on the Shiver, and you head towards the captain's quarters. As you arrive into the captain's quarters, you open the door and you see that familiar desk that she described earlier. You see that this room is filled with all sorts of curios and other things. You can see some contraband, of course, some basic stuff, some respective things they scuttled in the past, like some small artifacts and trinkets, nothing of super value. But you approach the desk.
Brodie, did she say it was locked? It's in a box.
The compartment on the side, one of the drawers. He just starts ripping open some of the drawers.
Okay, you start ripping open some of the drawers. So you're just ripping open drawers, or what are you trying to do?
Searching for a hidden compartments searching under the desk for like a latch, opening a drawer, looking for like hidden compartments, like a false bottom, things like that.
Brodie, why don't you give me a roll? But you got to tell me what kind of roll you're going to be making here.
Okay, I would say using finesse. He's not exactly breaking the desk. He's pulling open individual drawers, trying to look for anything that seems out of place in the desk, specifically the drawers that Vivian mentioned.
I'm going to say this is for the time being, this is a controlled position because no one else is in here with you besides your compatriot. And I'm going to say that this is a standard effect.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a 5. Partial success. So you are going through the drawers, and you're using your fingers to kind of run along the lines, try and find secret compartments, and you find a small little divot as you push in a button, and it pops open. As it does so, the drawer falls open, and the box falls on the ground, and it cracks open. And you see that there's a shimmering blue light coming out of the box.
Shit.
Uh-oh. Is it leaking? Is it liquid? Is it...
It's just a shimmering blue light that's just coming out of the box.
It hasn't fallen out of the box, though.
No, you just see that there is a blue light coming out of the box that is open.
Uh-oh. Careful. Don't touch it. Is it like a, standard 4-flap open box? I'm sorry for asking for the minutia.
No, no, it's fine. That's what it is. It's like a lock box. It's like a standard open, like hinged box.
Okay. Can we just like close it back, or is it broken?
I would say that you see that it is broken.
Right. Well, I'm glad I brought my satchel with me. He pulls out a small, or a relatively, I would say, medium-sized black leather sack, essentially, that he could kind of scooch over the top of it and scoop it up without touching it.
Okay, is that part of your loadout?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so make sure that you are marking down which item you were using. So how you did a light loadout, right?
Correct.
Okay, so establishing that you have pulled out a black sack. All right, so you quickly tuck the shimmering blue box into the black sack. All right, so you have obtained the box. You are in the captain's quarters on the Shiver. What do you do?
I think it's time to leave.
I think you're right. Go back the way we came or out the side?
Is there a way to kind of, if there is a side exit, do we want to just say, all right, all's well, and just leave? Be like, all right, sorry you guys have to continually deal with this, but see you later. We're clocking out. It might be beneficial to not have to talk to those two again. So do you want to search for an alternate way out of here?
Potentially. So thinking back to where we met those two individuals, are they on the deck proper or at the end of the gangplank towards the dock?
They are on the deck proper, basically at the top of the gangplank that has led from the dock to the ship.
And that's the only way onto the ship. And the only way off, besides jumping into the water. Oh, well, let's...
I don't suppose they have lifeboats attached to this thing.
Well, I've got gear here still. How many times am I able to use Compel? Is it like a once a day thing? Because I didn't see that there was... I get that it's probably not like I'm going to be summoning ghosts with every action. Is it...
Well, let me see here in the respective... See if there's something specific, because I don't think you take stress unless it specifically states as such. I'm wondering, because then I don't want to, just say that you do it, right? You're a whisperer, right?
Right.
85...
Because I didn't see anything about it putting...
I don't think you take stress or anything.
Yeah, like some sort of, you can only do this once per day or something.
By default, a ghost wants to satisfy its need for life essence and to exact vengeance. When you compel it, you can give it a general or specific command, but the more general it is, like protect me, the more the ghost will interpret it according to its own desires. Your control of the ghost lasts until the command is fulfilled or until a day has passed. So it looks like it's once per day. At least that's what I'm seeing here. Because I can't imagine you just can't keep summoning. You shouldn't be able to just keep summoning ghosts, right? Like it's just...
And it's like once, one ghost has, this ghost's command lasts a day, and then the next 30 ghosts are all different commands that only last till the end of the day, because it seems kind of overpowered.
Because otherwise you would be basically abusing a ghost situation.
Right. You do this. You do that. You.
Everyone
get a
line
ghost.
up. Do the
You
can
get a
cat.
ghost. Everyone gets a ghost.
Where is my latte? You know, just.
Just being a basic bitch wicker. Where is my latte?
Brody would not succeed on any of those saves. He'd just be
Like,
huddled on the floor. I can't handle it.
Catatonic from all the ghosts just bringing coffee.
Well, let's try to say we examined. Let's say we're. Oh, please, you grab it.
No,
Go.
What if we were to do a flashback where we had already arranged to have our dinghy brought around to the side of the boat to ferry us away? Is that something we could potentially have done?
I would say potentially. The reason being is that though it's just the two of you. It's your vehicle, right? So
Right, who's driving?
I mean,
There's
you
no
could
getaway
fla-
driver.
you could flashback and say that you had spoken to a friend, maybe.
Sure.
So
Poe wasn't
it's
busy.
I mean, Poe's more of your contact. I would argue that he probably wouldn't, because I mean, it's just him running the bar. I can't imagine that he would close down the tavern. I could think that Jaden potentially could, but that might require a sway roll. Or no, I can't say that. I can't, because I have to remember. I can't say which one it is, but I'll posit that if you want to do a flashback and have your vehicle brought, you would have to say who is the one bringing the vehicle to you, right?
Gotcha. Okay, so
Gotcha.
Collin, in theory, if we're getting 4 coin and we promised one of those 4 to Jaden to be the getaway driver, is that something you think would be worth it?
Me?
Yes.
First follow-up question. Who is Jaden?
Sorry, Dr. Jaden Faymora is a friend of Brodie's. They have been friends since the inception of Salt Vein some 200 years ago. So someone that Brodie trusts implicitly. He's not usually roped up into felonious affairs, but given that the alternative is potentially a harm coming to his patient, it wouldn't be too terribly hard to insist that he help.
And that would be, I feel like that would be a fair ask, and, you know, given it's a lot, I guess it's not a lot of coin, but, or yolk, but...
One yolk is basically equivalent of like a small purse of gold, basically, so it's not a lot, but it is not something to sneeze at.
Yeah, we are asking them to be our getaway boat, so I would say that would be fine. That would be okay to have a flashback to see if you'd be able to convince them to kind of be at the ready.
Okay. We flash back to Dr. Jaden Faymora's medical, kind of his medical setup. It's kind of a ramshackle situation. Brodie, you know, you're very familiar with this area, of course. There is all sorts of manner of doctor's tools hanging about on the wall. It's just kind of like a side shack, almost. As you open the door, he turns and he's wiping his hands off on his apron, off of his medical apron, and as he looks, his eyes roll back into his head as he kind of leans back and gives a sigh and just, Brodie?
Dr. Faymora, how are you doing, you fine bastard?
Where does it hurt?
Well, it's not about where it hurts right now, but where it could hurt if I don't have your assistance.
No.
Come on, it's been ages since I've asked you for a house call. I promise I'll make it worth your while.
You'll make it worth my while.
Of course.
He looks to you with like a raised eyebrow.
Of course I will. If I can safely get out with the appropriate item I've been asked to retrieve, I think an entire coin might be worth it for the yoke.
What are you planning on doing?
It's not very, well, the less you know the better, but we're going to be in the impoundment yard.
He stops and he basically puts his hands up to and pushes his glasses up as he rubs his the top of his nose kind of at the bridge. Just the impoundment yard. All right, so what are you asking me to do? Are you asking me to come along and make sure that you're well and truly taken care of, or what are you asking me to do here?
No, just simply take the boat. There's gonna be some mayhem. Just bring it quietly round to the far side of the ship, just so we can take a wee rope down, and then we will take it back with you. Drop you off at home.
There's a pause as he looks to all of you, and you can see that his eyes are flitting to respective areas of your body, familiar parts of where he has stitched and glued and patched from all the various other things that you have done over the years in your respective field. Brodie, as he just struggles to say anything. So whatever roll you're making, so this is going to be well, first, no, you have to tell me the action, then I tell you what the position and the effect is. So.
Okay. To clarify, command is intimidation-based. Is that true?
Command is intimidation-based, usually. I mean, you could do something like... So you compel with swift obedience. You might intimidate or threaten to get what you want. You might lead a gang in a group action. You could try to order people around to persuade them. I mean, it's more of an intimidation, yeah.
Okay, but, so threaten's in there. You know, if I don't receive proper care for when I need you most, I might have to take my coin elsewhere.
Brodie, where else would you go?
There are fine men.
I would say if you want to do this, this is a controlled position. You know what? No, I'll say this is a risky position because it's risky. But I'm gonna say that this is gonna be. I'm gonna say this is a limited effect. So you'll have a partial effect to it, but it's gonna be limited because I mean you're basically asking a doctor to drive the getaway vehicle.
Okay, so it would be. Okay, so limited effect. Is that technically command then, or am I still, or is it sway? You would think.
That's up to you of what you want. If you want to choose command or sway, command is you're basic from what you just said. Like that's the effect that you would get for command. It's a risky position with a limited effect.
And just to, I keep asking because this is a new system, so I appreciate your patience.
No, I get it. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are Blades and Dark people that are shouting at me right now. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Okay, but so because I don't necessarily have any dots in the other things, it could potentially be better an outcome, but the roll would be riskier because I have less help, essentially.
Right, because essentially, if you don't have any dots, you're still rolling 2 dice, but you're taking the lower out of the 2.
Okay. So because he's using command, this is going to be less effective, but if I use something that was potentially softer, it could be more effective, but less likely to get. Is that what I'm understanding?
Let me look at your sheet here. So, yeah, if you did command, you get more dice, and you take the higher out of the 2. If you did consort or sway, you're still rolling 2 dice, but you're taking the lower out of the 2. You could also do things like I could say you could do a devil's bargain here, if you'd like to take a devil's bargain.
Remind me once more what the devil's bargain is.
Sure. So a devil's bargain is where I propose something to you, and you get an additional dice for accepting. It could be something like collateral damage or unintended harm. You could end up betraying a friend or a loved one, offend or anger a different faction, or add additional heat, or you could suffer harm, or there's a bunch of things. I basically would give you the devil's bargain. I can propose it to you if you like.
So I would know the consequences going in, potentially, of what could happen.
Yes, you would still get the die, but you would know what this devil's bargain would be.
Okay, but I have to accept the devil's bargain and then find. Okay.
And then you get the dice.
But I can't refuse once I've called devil's bargain. It's just that's
True.
what.
You can always still go back. I could give you all these dice options like that, and you're like, you know what, I actually want to try sway, or I just want to do this, or whatever you want to do.
Okay, so I would not necessarily be locked in until I've chosen to go through with that action.
Until you have decided, I want to do, yes, I'm fine with the position, the effect, and the amount of dice that I have.
Okay, so what would the devil's bargain then be?
The devil's bargain would be that Dr. Jaden Famora would be on the job, which would mean that since he's not normally at his clinic, people would know that he was not at his clinic, and potentially he would catch the ire of the Red Crests.
Those consequences, I think, would be too steep for Brodie to accept, simply because I think he's better friends with Dr. Faymora than that. I would say, even though the effect is less, I say he would be like, listen, I wouldn't ask if I didn't have to. He tries to sway instead.
Try and sway. So you have nothing in sway, so you're going to take 2 dice, and you're going to roll the lesser of the 2. So again, this position is going to be controlled, and it's going to be risky and a limited effect.
Still limited. Okay. All right.
Well, you didn't change any. Yeah, you're doing a sway. You have nothing in sway, and it's, again, I'm not saying that you don't do it. You just have you achieve it a partial or weak effect.
If I'm misunderstanding, please correct me. So, command has the same risk and limited as a sway does. Is that right?
Right. Well, because when you're considering what's happening, you're basically telling a doctor to commit a crime, to assess a crime actively. Like, he's fine. He's normally helped you in all the other stuff, in legitimate actions, and also patched you up when you've done less than reputable things. But this time you are actively telling him to participate in a crime.
Fair enough. If the risk and limited is the same for either sway or command, I guess it would make more sense thematically to go with command then, because I'd have more points, but...
That's up to you. I literally only am setting the difficulties, for the most part, and giving you the bargains and everything. I can't tell you what to roll or anything.
Okay. If then there's less of a negative fallout, I say he'd go with command. He'd threaten to take his business elsewhere. Kind of half joking, but he's like, I'm serious. I need your help on this.
That is a success. You take the higher of the 2. All right, so things go well. Dr. Jaden Faymora, for a moment, he's smiling, but then it wavers a minute, where he just kind of looks at you and his brow furrows like, you serious?
I mean, if you want to keep me safe, you should probably tag along.
All right, I'll do it, but I'm gonna say though is that this is gonna be. I'm not sure exactly how well I'm gonna be able to help. I haven't really gone much on the docks myself, so just be aware of that. We cut back to you on board the Shiver. There is kind of a clunk against the side of the Shiver, and a scraping sound, and you hear a bunch of expletives kind of like hushed but also not hushed off to the side of the boat. It kind of sways a little bit, so the boat, your vehicle has hit up against the Shiver on the other side, as Dr. Jaden Faymora is on the other side.
So he did end up coming.
It would appear our ride has arrived.
What wonderful timing.
As always. He starts going towards the door. After you.
Yep. Let's get out of here. I follow.
All right, you're back on the deck of the ship of the Shiver. You see that most of the attention of the guards is still on the Ghost, which is still, oddly enough, starting to... It's getting, actually, as you can see as you get on the deck of the ship, almost instantaneously, the bag that you were holding, Brodie, begins to shimmer even brighter blue. And as it does so, the Ghost begins to increase in size. As it increases in size, you see that there are multiple limbs kind of extending out of the Ghost until to the point of where it extends almost like... The best I could describe it is a giant human centipede, as it kind of just started convulsing and turning into multiple tiers of limbs and starts screeching. The Red Crests are actively starting to just get very concerned with what is happening in front of them as the bag continues to glow brighter.
I think it's time we left.
Agreed.
Let's go.
You're able to make your way to the boat, and that's the score. You're able to get away on the boat.
Woo!
As Dr. Jaden Faymora is just stressing out and trying to figure out the various controls as he's pulling on levers as it creaks and he feels like he's getting it in the wrong gear. He's like, you never really expressly said how to operate this thing. You simply said, get the boat.
You're fine, you did brilliantly. Claps him on the back. Now, move over, we gotta take care of this.
Okay, as Brodie, you begin to turn the wheel, and as you do so, it kind of scrapes up against the Shiver a little bit more and begins to take off in the distance. Yeah, so that's a score. So we're going to quickly go through a few things here. After you finish a score, your crew, basically, you take time to recover, regroup, and prepare for whatever next operation you'd like to do. There are 4 parts we have to do in order of how it happens after a score. There's the payoff, heat that you take, which is basically kind of your wanted level, any entanglements that happen, and any other downtime activities that you guys would like to do. If you guys would like to flash to where you're basically heading towards the veins, right, of where you're meeting with the boy with the blue feather, we can certainly play out that scene quick as you're getting the payoff.
Sounds good. And just to clarify, the veins are the kind of the system of tunnels?
The veins are, they are the lower southwestern borough, which is full of shops, offices, and artisans, and it's like the southeastern parts of the borough that there's fortified bloodwood that's around kind of the outer like walls, and but the thing is that most of it is connected with various canals, so that's why it's the veins. So you're able to meet up with the boy with the blue feather. You see it very, very quickly. He's kind of a small boy, looks to be about maybe 10 years old. He's got grime on his face, and he's got a single blue feather just sticking out of its side of right kind of tucked behind his ear. He's leaning up against a wall. He's dressed in kind of some shabby clothes, and as he sees your boat approach, he gives a nod to you. Do you have the item?
Of course. And he holds out the black bag that's been tied off at the top.
Both of you notice that the black bag that was shimmering bright blue off kind of directly the coast, as you kind of gone into the veins, actually started to kind of diminish a little bit in its luminosity. And it's still shimmering blue through the black bag, but not as brightly as it was when it was on the docks. The young boy takes it from you, kind of from the boat, as he leans back as the water kind of shifts underneath, and he takes it and he holds it, and he briefly looks inside, and his eyes glow wide as he sees what it is, and he quickly shuts it. Okay, it's good. He reaches into his own respective bag on his back, and he pulls out a few purses and quickly tosses them to you. So, here's your yoke. The Captain Piper expresses her regards and her appreciation.
Pleasure doing business with you.
He nods to you both and begins to take off down the alleyway. All right, so you guys get 4 coin or 4 yoke. However, you did promise at least 1 yoke, then 1 coin, right? So you get 3 coin for your crew. And I think, again, you guys still have control over the crew sheet, right?
Yes, I think I'm able to still pull that up.
Okay, yes. So then go ahead and mark 3 coin then. Anything more than 4 basically has to be put into like a strong box at your base. So you could distribute these coins. You can keep them right now with the crew, or you can distribute it to each other if you both decide to, like, here's your cut. So that's up to you of how you want to distribute it. Your crew also gets 2 rep off the bat just for doing a job. Okay. And then we're going to go for a few things here of determining what's going to be your heat and any additional rep, potentially. So, by default, you get 2 rep, kind of your reputation of the job. If the target of your score is higher tier than you, you take 1 plus rep per tier higher. You were basically dealing with the red crests, which were a tier 5. So, that means that you take 1 plus rep per tier higher. So you're a 0, so you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Dang.
So you get 5 additional rep.
Okay.
If the operation is complete, if the operation is completely quiet, so no one knows about it, you're in 0 rep, which that was not quiet. Coin based on nature job, so that's what you got. The other thing too is that we'll say, since you were doing the job for the bottom feeders, 04 Vivian, normally, since she runs, the bottom feeders kind of run Shellview for the most part, you would pay a tithe normally to the boss that kind of is in the respective region. But since you were doing the job for her, you just keep your gold, so you keep your yoke. And next up, then, other thing is heat. So, after a score or conflict with an opponent, your crew takes heat according to the nature of the crime. 0 heat, we went smooth and quietly, low exposure. 2 heat, contained, standard exposure. 4 heat, loud and chaotic, high exposure. 6 heat, wild, devastation, exposure. I would say that it was at least 4 heat, because that was loud and chaotic from the ghost. So that's going to be high exposure, so that's going to say 4 heat. So you're at that.
Well, they didn't really focus on us, though. They focused on the ghost.
So the thing is that you're still, the rep that you gather is still kind of associated with your crew, right? Because you are you do strange things, right? That's why Vivian was like, I need some people to kind of take care of this strange thing that's going on with this box. So the people in the underworld knew, right, that something strange happened, so something is going to happen right there. So you take 4 heat. Okay, so now entanglements. After each score, I roll entanglements based on the wanted and the heat level. So you have 4 heat, so I need to roll for what entanglements you have. This basically determines things that may or may not happen to your crew. So let me, after payoff and heat general entanglement, find the column that matches the crew's. Crew's current heat level. Then roll a number of dice equal to their wanted level. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think we're wanted yet, if I'm reading correctly here.
Right, yeah, wanted level is 0, roll 2 dice and keep the lowest result, so that's my mistake. So, because you had 4 heat, but you had lowest, so that's 1. Ah, okay, there we go. Now I'm getting it. Okay. From this, you basically have determined that from the entanglement from the job, you know that it has caused some people to look at your crew with a little bit of further disdain.
Those 2 weirdos.
So actually, what I'm going to do it says bring it into play immediately or hold off until appropriate moment. I'm going to actually hold off, because I think I'm going to use this for next session.